Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the very tail end of this snowstorm that we've been seeing going on since yesterday and even the day before. And then we're going to take a look at some upcoming big snowstorm threats that are still on the way for the end of January. There's actually multiple of them that we need to go over in the upcoming patterns. I can't wait to go over that with you guys in just a moment. Now, before we get into the video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that one of these upcoming snowstorms could be more impactful than this ongoing one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's just get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look here at our ongoing current radar imagery, and there's a couple things going on, but obviously the big one is our ongoing major winter storm here. A lot of rainfall happening and mixing in here for the southern regions, but on the north and western sides of this storm, it is actually very heavy snowfall, and we have seen very heavy amounts come down for certain regions. We'll go over that in a moment, but we do have some snow showers up here for the upper Midwest, a tiny bit, North Dakota, South Dakota, a little bit of that going on. And then we have some sprinkles around for the West Coast. It's kind of weird, just like little pockets. So we'll take a look at those two areas. It's very, very minor compared to this very major storm we're taking a look at over here. But let's just zoom in real quickly to California real quick. And you can see basically between San Francisco and Los Angeles, there along, I guess, the more coastal half of the state, we have some rain showers around. Obviously, you're not going to be awake to even see that, so it's kind of not even worth mentioning, but it is something that is currently going on. Now, as we look at the upper Midwest, we can see there is an area of snow showers here. And I would say there is some moderate pockets of that going on for some of these regions in there, kind of near Bismarck and surrounding regions. So that is definitely worth noting for sure. And then we obviously have our big snowstorm out here. Okay, so we have some pockets of snowfall going on for Tennessee and Kentucky right now. But we also have our major storm, which is like somewhere in here. And then we have just tons of precipitation to the west and to the north of this storm. Heavy precipitation happening around Boston and New York right now. Very strong winds. We had this in Virginia yesterday, last night. Let me tell you, it was nasty down here. Okay, nothing compared to the freezing rain, but we had some nasty, heavy rainfall. I think we got about 1.5 inches. Most of that came within the last hour of the rainfall, and those winds were just absolutely crazy. It was, we get a lot of hurricanes here and tropical storms. It was very equivalent to, I would say, probably more like a Category 1 rather than just a tropical storm. So it was crazy, guys. It would be on the stronger end of a tropical system. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Very strong storm. I'm sure up here for these regions, they're feeling that right now. So overnight, you're probably feeling very similar conditions to what I was feeling yesterday evening. Now, we do have tons of snowfall still coming down for these regions, and then freezing rain kind of following it. The rain snow line is pushing further north and further into these kind of New England regions and northeastern regions as the storm moves up. If the storm was here, we'd be seeing snow for all of these regions with the rain snow line not moving further north. We would just see snow everywhere. But since it's inland, we basically have a warm front here and then a cold front down here. That's typically how the low pressure system works. So as that warm front is pushing up, it's allowing for that warm air to push up with it. And the precipitation to the north is still in that cold air, but this precipitation more near that frontal boundary is going to be warming up. And also it's the same story for areas around the low pressure system as well. But on this back end, you can see there's no rain here along this cold front end here on the more southern and western end of this storm. It's all snowfall going on. So that's the difference. If we were here, this warm front would be way out here, and we would be seeing precipitation along that cold front that is all snow. That's the difference. Okay. Anyway, I've talked enough about that. That's the ongoing storm right now. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to take a look at some exciting opportunities for more snowfall in the near future, the very near future, actually, starting in just about 4 days this weekend. We have another big threat, potentially, and then multiple others. So this is becoming an active pattern all of a sudden, and I can't wait to go over it with you guys. So here we are taking a look at that modeled guidance. You can see our current ongoing storm right there. This is obviously today, from the time I am making this video, Monday, January 17th, halfway through January. We're going to be to spring in no time, guys. I can't believe it. Moves up, becomes primarily a snowstorm, actually, as we reach kind of into the evening hours tonight. So as we're heading towards the 18th, I'd say, 8 p.m. tonight or so, you can see that there's not a lot of rainfall or mixing happening in the United States anymore. It's mostly snowfall with the storm by this point. So it does become a colder storm over time. And that actually happens fairly soon on that model, and then it moves out, obviously. Now, next couple of snow threats, we do get like a very brief warm up because you can see right here, trough in the east, ridge in the west, and then for like 12 hours, we get in a pattern that looks a little bit like this. That's going to be Wednesday, early morning, but we have a clipper system moving through. It's kind of rolling with this jet stream. And then we have another system kind of over here somewhere moving kind of like that. And what ends up happening is very quickly, within 24 hours, we see again another trough entering into the eastern United States. We see this line of storms. It's along that cold front here. We probably have warm air battling this way. This is the 20th, by the way. We have cold air battling this way, and it's squeezing this precipitation, so it can't head this way or this way. So it has to move up it with the jet stream. So that's what it does. But you can tell which air mass is winning because it's slowly, even though it's mostly heading along the front, it is very slowly heading this way. So that trough is winning out. But it's primarily heading up the front. We see this time and time again. Pretty classic. So this is the development of our next snowstorm. Huge kind of inverted trough there. Kind of interesting. It's kind of like that, as you can see. Now, what ends up happening is we have this cold front. We see this happen with tropical systems as well in the fall time and the summertime. It's pretty interesting, but we have a cold front and it just kind of stalls out, and then we eventually get a low pressure system developing along it. So as you can see, this would be kind of another southeastern snowstorm. We have some freezing rain in here for coastal Carolina regions and also in through portions of Georgia. So hopefully that does not occur that way. But we also have a lot of snowfall happening on the northern end of this storm, which right now includes my neck of the woods. So I have my fingers crossed. And this actually becomes a fairly major snowstorm over time. What we're going to see happen is it is going to head up the coast a bit. You can see this one would be kind of a more coastal storm for these folks, as opposed to these very far inland ones we've been seeing. This would finally be one that would impact the coast. And look, guys, this starts out, let's see when it kind of starts out as a snowstorm. This starts out this Thursday evening. This starts out in a few days. This isn't some long-range forecast we're taking a look at here. This is a couple days from now. This is moving into this weekend, not even. So Thursday into Friday is when it starts up. And then we see all the way through Saturday, almost to Sunday morning, is when this storm is really getting its act together. 988 millibar low pressure center by the time it heads there. So it develops into this nor'easter that heads up just like that, bringing snowfall for this corridor primarily. We will track this and continue to track this over time. We stay in a trough in the east pattern just like this all the way through. We get a bit of a clipper / Miller B. I don't know if it wants to head like offshore, but primarily these usually bring snowfall to the areas to the north of their track, and that stays true right there. And that's the two snowstorms right now that we see on this European model. Let's backtrack. Let's take a look at the GFS model here. First storm moves out. We don't need to talk about that one. Here's the 20th. This is Thursday morning. We have another storm developing in here on this model. That is that front. You can see it developing on this model as well. What's interesting is on the GFS, it kind of just dissipates a little bit. Does try to become something right here. But look at how far offshore this low pressure system is. It's probably located about here on the European model. So we're talking about 300 miles, 2 to 300 miles difference there of where that low pressure system is. We do have some snowfall, as you can see, but much different scenario there. Moves offshore, doesn't really impact anything. But a couple of days later on Sunday morning, look at that. Another Miller A nor'easter trying to develop, bringing some wintry precipitation here for the southeast. That's storm number 2 after the ongoing one. Let's keep this going. January 25th, storm number 3 developing. Miller A nor'easter developing in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, this is the third storm out outside, this isn't even counting our ongoing one. And this one looks a little bit more major, actually. It does head up the coast there, as you can see, this Miller A. So this one is classic with its track. It's just straight up the coast, and it primarily brings snowfall to these regions in there on this model. So that's storm number 3. We got something else brewing in here. There's some broad low pressure in here somewhere, and that's storm number 4. Kind of impacts the southeast a little bit, kind of acts up and then gets out of there. Storm number 4, and then there comes storm number 5, kind of taking the same track. So here's the thing. We primarily have a jet stream that's like that. So what's happening is these storms are developing along the jet stream and following it. So as long as we're stuck in this pattern, as long as we have moisture coming in here from the southern end, these usually come from the Pacific here, we usually see this jet stream merge up with this one here, and it becomes kind of a big old jet stream with the moisture and with the cold. And we're seeing time after time, really from now till February 2nd on this GFS model, again, 4 or 5 storms between now and then taking this track. That bodes well for cold and snow lovers in generally in this region. Anywhere where I just circled, it bodes really, really well because that's just more snow opportunities. Will every single one be a super great snowstorm for you? Almost certainly not. But if you have been hoping for snow, if you haven't seen snow, or maybe you have seen snow and you're still hoping for snow, this bodes well for at least seeing 1 or 2 snowstorms potentially, at least in your area. Odds are that that is a good likelihood, depending on where you're at, especially obviously in the Northeast and New England. This increases the chances significantly of seeing snow at some point here in the upcoming pattern. So there is a lot to be optimistic about if you are a cold and snow lover. I'm excited about this upcoming pattern because it gives me something to talk about. And yeah, I hope you guys stay tuned. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to continue to talk about the upcoming pattern. Be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss any updates. For today's confidence tab, we're still at a 3 out of 6 because, well, there's still some uncertainty with this storm, although there's more and more models coming on board every single day. And by this storm, I mean the one coming up in a few days, not any of the ones beyond it. But the one coming up potentially this weekend, we just had the UK Met model, which is it's kind of like the British model. That model just came on board big time with the European model, and the Canadian model's also super on board with that storm. So there's more and more models coming on board. We only have a few days to go, and the only model really not showing it at this point is the GFS. So if the GFS comes on board big time, we're in business for sure coming up soon. So we're going to watch for that, but that's why our confidence is at a 3, because there is a model, one of the major ones actually, that is not on board at this point, so we need to wait and get that kind of validation there. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, when do you think our next big snowstorm will be for the eastern United States? And James Marr said, I believe our next winter storm in the east will be in the January 22nd to 24th timeframe. Which one do you think is James Marr talking about? Obviously the one we're talking about. So that's why I picked this for today's comment of the day. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our Platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Lil the Pan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carter as well. I would also like to thank our Diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, No More Holy, Michael Kudalas, Catbite, Charles Tennant, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Khaleesi also. I would also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.